5 minutes, Mark Seward.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and in the interest of saving time, I'm sure you will grant me permission to skip to the part where I celebrate my great constituency. It is the greatest responsibility and honour of my life to stand before you as the Labour MP for Leeds South West and Morley. Alongside being a husband and a dad, this is the most important job I will ever do, and I give sincere thanks to my constituents and my neighbours for sending me to this place. Now, it has been 9 years since Morley and Outward, the old constituency, sent Dame Andrea Jenkins to represent us, and I'd like to give sincere thanks to my predecessor. Andrea is a ferocious campaigner for the issues she passionately believes in. During her time as our MP, she was a strong advocate for animal welfare, and she always stood up for the people of Ukraine. She will always speak her mind and her truth to power, as members of this House will be able to confirm. And while the list of things that we agree on is reasonably short, we were in broad agreement that prior to the general election there needed to be a change in Prime Minister. I sincerely thank Dame Andrea Jenkins for her service to her constituents and this House. Now, Leeds South West and Morley is steeped in history, tradition, and it's made up of some of the best and proudest communities in the country today. The town of Morley's in the centre, and I'm proud to say that I was raised there. However, some of my residents, some of my constituents will hear me say that, and they will take issue because I was in fact raised in Cherwell, a village that is geographically attached to the town of Morley. And while I will always call myself a proud Morleyan, the truth is that there are distinct differences in each part of my constituency with their own proud history and their own stories to tell. Now, part of Morley's history is that it was once home to the penultimate Liberal Prime Minister, Herbert Asquith. You can find his name on buildings and in streets, including, I'm sorry to say, the infamous Asquith Avenue, which is in desperate need of resurfacing. Now, I know that some of the historians among us will never forgive Herbert Asquith, not for the quality of roads in his name, but for the shell crisis of 1915, which saw the British Army left without the munitions they need during World War I. This ultimately brought down his premiership. But given that the crisis was abated when the state stepped in to provide a solution, I do think it stands as a reminder that as powerful as the free market can be, there are times and there are problems and there are crises that requires the power of the state to solve. And while I'm sharing a snippet of the history of my constituency, it would be remiss of me not to talk about the place of the mills and the mines in the history of Leeds South West and Morley. Whether it was the role of Morley, Tingley, Gildersham or East Ardsley in the heavy woolen trade, or the villages of Lofthouse and Robin Hood with their mines, these industries have shaped our constituency and the home that we know and love today. But of course, it isn't just the history of my constituency that makes it great, it is the people. It is the people at the Driglington Village Coffee Pot Memory Cafe who do outstanding work for people with dementia. For their efforts, they were recently awarded the King's Award for Voluntary Service, one of the highest honours an organisation like that can receive. I commend them for their work. And while I'm on Driglington, I must also pay tribute to not one, but 2 Olympic medalists who both won bronze in the 3-metre and 10-metre synchronised diving events in Paris. I congratulate them for their incredible success. It's Lois's first medal, and it's Jack's 4th. He now has one of every colour. In Cherwell Village, we are blessed with the environmental action volunteers who keep the community looking outstanding. And finally, we have the 8th South West Leeds Scout Group who work in conjunction with our litter pickers to keep our community looking outstanding. And in Wortley, residents have gone to great lengths to protect and restore the TV Harrison football field. Leeds United legends have trained there, including Paul Rierney and David Batty, and I look forward to working with the residents and the Leeds School Sports Association who have responsibility for the site to restore it to its former glory. And while Farnley and Wortley make up the new addition to this seat, it is a place that does not have its own community hub or its own library, but what it does have is some outstanding sports teams that make up the community hub for our community in Farnley and Wortley. These are Wortley FC, Farnley Falcons, West Leeds RUFC, and of course New Farnley Cricket Club. And Wortley being the place where I'm raising my own children, Oscar and Arthur, they will never be able to call themselves Morleyans, I'm sorry to say. Finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, because I know that time is very short. I do want to reference the work of WF3 Kindness, who work across Tingley, Ardsley, Thorpe, Lofthouse and Robin Hood, and their sole aim is to help people in those communities live stronger and better lives, and I look forward to supporting them in that work. And if I could conclude by saying that these organisations, these constituents I've referenced today, they have sent me here to return politics to public service once again. They have sent me here to restore stability to our country and our economy. They have sent me here to plug those gaps that they have often themselves had to fill. My constituents have stepped up time and again to serve their community. It's my turn to do the same for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.